Every time that someone says that we as Black people just need to get over slavery, I feel the need to remind them that slavery lasted almost as long as America has been a country for.
You know, some white people think that we should get over slavery very quickly.
We're like the only race of people that they tell us to forget our history. Everybody else to be like, we're going to let you know so it doesn't repeat itself. Don't you forget that shit.
I've heard people say black folks should just get over slavery. And every time I hear that, it honestly makes me wonder, do they really understand what they are asking for? Slavery was not just an event in history. It was a system that shaped generation, and its shadows still stretches into today's in opportunities, in treatment, in perception. To say get over it, it's to ignore how that pain was passed down, not just through bloodlines, but through the world we live in. So in this video, I want us to talk about that, not from anger, but from honesty, because healing doesn't start with silence. It starts with understanding. And before we begin, kindly subscribe to my channel because we are here to speak the truth with empathy. Let's watch these videos and I will come back after with my full thoughts.
Every time that someone says that we as Black people just need to get over slavery, I feel the need to remind them that slavery lasted almost as long as America has been a country for. America has been an independent country for 249 years, and slavery lasted for 246. And I also feel the need to remind them that slavery was only abolished 160 years ago, meaning that my great-great-great-grandma was a slave. If that doesn't put into perspective the fact that the effects of slavery are still existing to this very day, I literally don't know what else will.
We're like the only race of people that they tell us to forget our history. Everybody else to be like, we're going to let you know so it doesn't repeat itself. Don't you forget that shit. That shit's not going to happen. Every other person. And then they'll all ask us to support them in their plight. They just want us to continue to entertain, give them creative ideas so they can steal all of that shit. We are the only motherfuckers that they tell to forget about our history. The shit is so disgusting.
It's disgusting.
When you go to a doctor's office, what's the first thing they do? They pull out your medical history.
Right.
Because we have to assess what is happening now. We got to look back and see, okay, let's see what happened. You were last time you were here, this happened.
Right.
That's how you're able to move forward. They don't use that same philosophy on African American or African history. We are so deeply hated. They hate us so much.
Right. It's so true.
And if they're not making money off of, if they're not benefiting sexually, monetarily, culturally, they don't think of us as human beings.
You know, some white people think that we should get over slavery very quickly. They say things like, you know, you weren't in slavery, you're not in slavery, but you forget that our forefathers passed down the sufferings of slavery to us, and the mindset and the philosophy and ideology of slavery down to us as their children. So once slavery was over, then you had Jim Crow, which is just as bad as slavery. You didn't have our bodies, but you had our minds. And then you had redlining, where it was another part of Jim Crow, where we couldn't live in decent houses, and we had to live as subservients. And now, today, the 21st century, we're living under systematic racism. And you say, well, I'm not a racist. No, you're not. But the system that we live in is racist. And that's what you don't understand. And so when you make fun of Black people, just remember, you're not doing anything as a white person to rectify the situation. All you're doing is sitting on your couch, laughing about it, talking about it, going to your little church, worshiping God. If you really want to affect and help Black America out, put your money where your mouth is. That'll settle the problems. Your talking and your attitude and your criticism won't do anything for Black people. We have to make it our own, maybe. That's what we've been doing for 300 years. We'll survive, you know, but you have to live with your conscience, whether you help Black people or not. So this is Black Society.
Okay, so again, here's this punk ass story about how these white women feel so fucking entitled. Y'all, that's why I say stop telling us how we're supposed to feel about the way y'all treat us. It hasn't stopped. It's still going. So, Black lady is sitting in this white lady's seat. She don't know that it's hers. The lady has always sat there or whatever. So the black lady comes in and sit in her seat. Sit in the seat. White woman has a hissy fit, like how they do. She throws a hissy fit because the black lady won't get up out of her seat. Now, this is going on and they're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I don't understand why the woman has to get up and give her the seats when it's just pick another seat for the day. It's not that serious, but to them, it's serious, especially when it comes to us. Their white tears mean everything. And when a white woman get to crying, baby, watch out, because they don't hear nothing but her white tears, even though they know 9 times out of 10 she's wrong. It's them punk ass white tears, right? So the lady says, the instructor of the Pilates class says, we're not going to go any further until she is removed from this class. So you know what they did? They called the police on her. See what I'm saying? Y'all some dirty motherfuckers. I'm telling y'all, dirty as hell. And then be, oh, I don't understand why y'all feel. You know why we feel the way we feel? Y'all don't want to fuck with us? That's cool. We don't want to fuck with y'all. But any little trivial, minute thing, y'all want to, throw that fucking entitlement out. I'm just saying, stop telling us to go back to Africa. We've never been to Africa. I was born here in America, okay? So stop telling us that. But I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to be funny. How would white people, for the ones that don't like us and the ones that's funny style and straddling the fence, okay, this for y'all. How would you like if what happened to our ancestors and what's happening to us now, what if it happened to y'all? What if the tables were, turned and this shit happened to y'all? I wonder how would you feel? You would feel that we are savages. How could they do such a thing? They're unaliving kids. Y'all did this, but that's what y'all did. There was a story of a man. It's out of this book, and I think it's called Black as fuck, if I'm not, it's Black as AF or something like that. But the girl was crying so hard. I can't even watch her content because she is in that book. And I mean, that baby is crying about the treatment that happened to black people back in slavery. So they tie him up. They tie this black man up or whatever. And you know what they do? They make him eat his genitals. Yeah. But this is what I'm saying. But listen, we know y'all don't like us. But every time we try to do something, y'all like, I want to fuck with y'all. Stop it. It would just stop. Leave us alone. If I don't like a person, guess what? I don't hang around them. I don't torment them and go through the back and forth. I'm just not fucking with you, okay? You ain't even got to worry about it. But white people, for whatever reason, it's like if you get, even if we try to do something different, y'all still come for us. It's like y'all are white people are really obsessed with black people. That's just what it is. I don't know. Hey, you can feel some kind of way. That's fine. But I'm telling you what I'm seeing. What I'm looking at, that's an obsession. That's an obsession to the point where you want to unalive somebody because you're so inferior of who they are. You're inferior of their skin. I can't help my skin color. Neither can you. But what can we do about it? So I'm supposed to feel ashamed because of who I am? Are you ashamed of who you are? Because I'm not. I love being a black woman. But the thing of it is that y'all just keep doing shit to us, acting like we're not supposed to respond. And then when we respond, then we angry black women and this, that, and other. No, we just tired of y'all fucking with us. Just leave us alone. That's just it. Point, period, blank. You know what I'm saying?
We can't solve a problem or get to a solution about a problem that we refuse to acknowledge that we have. We don't have to be ashamed that we have a problem. We don't have to be ashamed to know that it is related to slavery, because all of our problems are related to slavery. And I know that seems to be some old hat issue, and everybody want me to stop talking about that. Nobody would tell the Japanese woman to forget about the fact that during World War II, the white man interned her family, took all of their personal possessions. Nobody would tell her to forget about that. Nobody would tell the Indian woman, forget about the fact that the white man came over here and took your country and put you and your babies out on the reservation. And nobody would dare to tell the Jewish woman to forget about the Holocaust, so why I gotta forget about slavery?
After watching those clips, here is what hits me. People say, get over it, because they've never felt it. They see history like it's a movie that ended. But for us, the credit never rolled. The chains came off here, but the weight stayed. In loss, in opportunities, in how the world still sees us. You don't just move past that, you live through it. And that's why these conversations matter. Not to stay stuck in pain, but to understand where it came from. So yeah, let's unpack this together, because pretending it's over doesn't make it go away.
She said, let us start right now. Let's forget the past. Notice this. When Jewish people remember the Holocaust and want the world to remember the Holocaust. Wait. Why do you want the world to remember? Because if the world does not remember, it is likely to repeat itself. And Jewish persons who suffered from the Holocaust want the world to remember this because the world turned its back while Jews were put in ovens. I, as a black person, want my people to remember what we have suffered and what we continue to suffer, so that we will say like the Jews, never again. Never again.
You know, people will say black people need to just get over it. They'll say we need to just get over it. Slavery was so long ago. Black people need to just get over it. But it's not just about slavery. It's about today. It's about the fact that I grew up with my parents telling me about Eleanor Bumpurs, who was in the kitchen cooking dinner for her family before she was unjustly unalived by police. It's about the fact that Ayanna Jones is a 7-year-old girl who was taking a nap on the couch and never got the chance to wake up again because the police raided the wrong house. It's about a Tatiana Jefferson who was unjustly unalived in front of her nephew because the police responded to a non-emergency call, yet somehow, someway, they sent bullets through her window. It's about Sandra Bland never making it home after she was unjustly arrested during a traffic stop because she just wanted to finish her cigarette. It's about Breonna Taylor laying in bed with her partner before the police ran in her home without identifying themselves and sent 6 shots through her body, unjustly unaliving her, and then trying to cover it up and still getting away. And today we have Sonia Massey in her kitchen, following instructions. They told her to turn off the pot of boiling water. She turned off the water. She goes to dump it out. They accuse her of trying to come at them. She puts her hands up with the oven mitts on. She ducks down. Weapons are already drawn by this point, and she's unjustly unalive. And there's questions about whether or not she deserves it. So when they say black people need to just get over it, slavery was so long ago. It's not just about slavery. It's not about so long ago. It's about systemic oppression as a result of racism that still exists today. It's about the fact that every time we think we've gotten over one hurdle, a new one appears. It's about the fact that, yes, there was slavery. Yes, there was Jim Crow. Yes, there was redlining. But we have Eleanor Bumpurs. We have Ayanna Jones. We have a Tatiana Jefferson. We have Sandra Bland. We have Breonna Taylor. We have Sonia Massey. And so many others. How can we get over it when it's always right in front of us?
Imagine this. You and your entire family are asleep in your home, peaceful, safe, and happy. Suddenly, in the middle of the night, strangers break in. They're armed. They beat your father, they chain your mother, and they drag your children out of bed crying. They don't speak your language. They don't even care about your rights because they're not here to negotiate. They load you onto a filthy ship, and for weeks you're shackled in your own waste. You're barely fed with people dying next to you. You hear screaming, you see children being thrown overboard, and this is not war. This is business. When you reach their land, they sell you like cattle. Your family's ripped apart forever. Your name is taken, your language is forbidden, and your God is erased. And your body, well, it belongs to them now. You will be worked until you die, and your children will be born into the same horror. Your grandchildren will never know freedom, and 400 years later, their descendants will look at your descendants and say, why can't y'all just get over it? The transatlantic slave trade wasn't just bad. It was a multi-century genocide masked in economics. It wasn't just physical slavery, it was a erasure of entire cultures, families, languages, and futures for profit. If that had happened to your family, would you just move on?
This account is from a publication called The Liberator, and it was published in January of 1832 when slavery was still legal and slave ships were still a thing. And I want to give you a trigger warning that this is disgusting. On board a slave ship, a child of about 10 months old took sulk and would not eat. The captain took up the child and flogged him with a cat, which a cat o' 9 tails was a whip that was named for the way that it scratched the skin like the claws of a cat. It was made up of 9 lengths of knotted cord attached to a handle, and with an oath said, "I'll make you eat or I'll unalive you." From this and other ill treatment, the child's legs swelled, and the captain ordered some water to be made hot for abating the swelling. But even his tender mercies were cruel, for the cook, putting his hand into the water, said it was too hot. "Put his feet in," said the captain with an oath. The child was put into the water, and the nails and skin came all off his feet. Oiled cloths were then put round them. The child was then tied to a heavy log, and 2 or 3 days afterwards, the captain caught it up again and said, "I will make you eat, or I will be the death of you." He immediately flogged the child again, and in a quarter of an hour, it died. After the infant was dead, he would not suffer any of the people on deck to throw the body overboard, but called the mother, the wretched mother, to perform this last sad office to her murdered child. He beat her till he made her take up the child and carry it to the side of the vessel, and then she dropped it into the sea, turning her head the other way, that she might not see it.
Here's a quick lesson in hypocrisy. White people always want you to remember the following events. Remember 9/11. Don't forget about the Holocaust. Remember the Alamo. Don't forget the American Revolution and our precious Confederate flag. Never forget Pearl Harbor. Slavery. Why are you guys still talking about slavery? That was so long ago. Nobody's thinking about slavery. Forget about that.
You know, telling Black people to get over slavery is like telling a family to forget their ancestors. We don't talk about it to hold grudges. We talk about it to heal, to remember, and to make sure it never happens again. Getting over it doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning from it, honoring it, and breaking the cycle that came from it. So the next time someone says, move on, just remind them, you can't move on from history you never faced. Thanks for watching, and if this spoke to you, like, share, and subscribe, because healing starts with truth.